is money stuck in your mind? Today, this afternoon, I want to speak to you about why it's important for you to write your book now. I want to talk to you about what excuses that some of you come up with and tell us that you can't do your book. And lastly, I want to showcase, to let you know what publishing has done for me in my life and in the lives of my clients as well. So, book publishing is actually a $58 billion industry, according to US statistics, and Yahoo Finance tells us that adult nonfiction is the fastest growing trade in the category. This is where you and I jump in as authors, as writers, as readers, to position ourselves as credible experts in our field. So it doesn't matter what your background is, whether you're a realtor, a network marketer, or whatever profession you are in, now is the time to actually jump in on the bandwagon and not to get left behind. Because I predict that within the next decade or so, if you haven't written your own book, or if you haven't written an article, your effectiveness in the marketplace is going to be compromised. Because a book has become your business card. Your book is what tells your potential client what you are about, what your values and your business is about. Can you imagine we're here at the PAWAR Conference and we're giving each other business cards? But where do business cards end up at the end of the day? Anyone? In the bin. That's correct. But not your book. If you were to give someone to hand them your book, you're handing them a representation of who you are. They're not going to chuck it away because it's something of higher perceived value. That way, you get to build that know, like, and trust factor, that people can be able to confidently trust you and do business with you. So we know that with any trends in life, it's always the early adopters that win. There's a current trend right now, a publishing gold rush, that if you miss it at this time, you actually miss out completely. So I would encourage you to ride the tide, because a few years, going forward a few years from now, you'll realize that everyone will have a book. So the power of a book is going to lose its potency. But right now, as soon as someone introduces themselves as an author, they get that instant credibility. You start perceiving them in a different light altogether. So this is the time to jump in on the bandwagon. There's a saying that goes, a rising tide lifts all boats. But you actually have to be in the water for you to be lifted up at the same time. So don't get left behind. You also need to leverage the power of social media. Recently, we had a new app that rolled out called Periscope, and I'm sure we'll be hearing more about this from Robert in the afternoon. But Periscope is a live streaming that anyone can tune in from anywhere in the world, and they can watch what you're doing in real time. So for business, it means that you can actually speak directly to your customers. Tell them about your services, tell them about you. They get to know, like, and trust you and do business with you. And it's not only about doing business, it's about them knowing you on a personal level. So really take your time to leverage the power of social media. And last Sunday, I did my very first Periscope. I was really proud of that. And Rudo was present as well as Robert. So it was fantastic. You have fun on Periscope. So there's absolutely no reason why anyone in this room should not have their own book. People buy you, not necessarily your products and services, because anyone else can be selling the same services that you're selling. But what makes me decide is what I'm drawn to about you and not necessarily what you're providing for me. So writing a book distinguishes you as an authority that becomes a client-attractive authority. In business, what you're trying to go after is a scenario where people are coming to you rather than you chasing people. That is a sweet spot for business, where you're attracting clients, they're lining up for your services rather than you chasing them. And writing a book enables your visibility in the marketplace. So we're here at the Publishers, Writers, and Readers Conference. But guess what? Without any writers, there'll be no readers. Without any writers, there'll be no publishers. So writers are the common denominator here. And I'm looking at a room that's full of writers. Anyone with me? Yes? So you need to be the ones that tell us about your story. The problem is sometimes we get caught up in a cycle of excuses. And for me, I like to tell my clients, it's either you get excuses or you get results. You can hold on to your excuses, tell me the nicest little story, and hold on to that, or you can come with me and we can produce results. So the choice is yours. So we just want to bust a few of those excuses that we've been hearing from people. The most common one, I've got no time to write a book. Some will tell you, I've got a spouse, I've got children, I've got a job, I don't have time to sit down and write. Well, this is where I tell you, you will be shown how to do it in 90 days. You will have a coach there alongside you, telling you exactly what to do every step of the way. If you're not sure what to write about the big problem that you're solving. If you say, oh, I can't afford it, sometimes you don't know how much, you don't know how much publishing costs. It may not cost as much as you think. And I always like to ask the question, what is it costing you not to do what you need to do right now? You may realize that you're actually leaving money on the table by not publishing your book, because the amount of doors and opportunities that it opens for you are beyond belief. I'm a procrastinator. Well, you need a coach to help to keep you focused. There's no way around that one. And if you say, I don't know enough, you'll be surprised that when you sit down at how much you actually know, your challenge will actually be cutting it down and summarizing it into a book that is readable. So we forget how much we know sometimes. So now the book that I wrote is called Success Gravity, right here, 7 Keys to Unlock Your Dream Lifestyle. And in it, I discuss the principles that enable you to create the ultimate lifestyle that you desire. Because each and every one of us are after a lifestyle that enables us to have freedom, time freedom, so that we spend that time, quality time with our loved ones. Money freedom, so that we don't have to be stuck in a 9-to-5 job that we hate. We can actually have the choice to work from home and develop a business that suits our own lifestyle. And location freedom, we don't have to be in one place in order to enjoy our time. So I like to call it freedom fighting. Any freedom fighters in the house? Woo! Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Time freedom. I also discussed the missing link to your true success, which is your contribution. I believe that after you've achieved your level of success, it is your duty to actually go back and help someone else to achieve their level of success. That creates that significance factor which enables longevity and success. So the more you give back, the more you're likely to succeed. I also talk about the connection between your mind, your money, and your manifestations, because you are what you say and you are what you think about. So there's a whole lot more I talk about how I paid off my debt and attained financial freedom as well. But just for today only, I am in a generous spirit. So I have decided to put my Kindle up for 99p only. You can download as soon as you get the opportunity. Download the book. It's only 99p. I've never done this before. It's a special just for the conference. And this could actually make the difference between the life that you have now and the life that you desire. So for less than the price of a Starbucks coffee, you can get a change in your lifestyle. And you can access this either on my Facebook page, Mabika, or you can go onto the PAWAR Conference page and download this yourself. So the doors of opportunity that have opened for me have been phenomenal. I've had an ambassador approach me and say that we should develop an entrepreneurship academy, teaching the principles, the gravity principles that I teach in this book. That would not have happened if I hadn't written my book. Bulk copies of my book have been ordered by schools, and they have put them in their libraries, and they also give them away as prize-giving awards for children. Now, besides the monetary value, the non-monetary value there is priceless. Who can put a price tag on the fact that you're contributing to the change, you're contributing to the educational system of a society? Who can put a price tag on that? That is something that's really quite close to my heart. I've been nominated as a finalist, a female entrepreneur and author of the year. And I get booked for paid speaking engagements as well. I've been featured in international press and media, and I've got a portfolio of raving clients that have successfully published their own books using my coaching program. So we're going to hear from one of them right now.
Rewind a few years back, I didn't even know what I wanted to do with my life. I was heavily overweight, weighing in at 17 stone, and just living life through the motions, until a friend's brutal honesty made me realize just how unhappy I was. So I decided to embark on a weight loss journey and lose 6.5 stone, which, as you can imagine, was a life-changing experience, but one that made me realize that I wanted more out of life. I wanted to inspire other people, live a more fulfilled life as well. I wanted to impact their lives. So I decided to write a book. And that is when I met Mabika, my publishing consultant. Mabika has an ardent desire to see other people succeed. Her work ethic is matchless. And the one thing I loved working with Epi was she came down to my level. She was already a published author, but she came down to my level and would discuss ways that we could make my own book come alive. She made me discover ideas that I didn't even know I had. And she was always at the end of the phone whenever I needed her. On days I felt I couldn't write anymore. On days when I wanted to give up, she was there to encourage me. And today, I'm proud to say, I can hold my book up. And having this book published has been key to me discovering my destiny. I am living my happiest life yet. I'm living my dream. I'm not afraid to pursue them anymore. So I just want to encourage you. If you're thinking of writing a book, I believe everybody has a story on the inside of them. And that story can impact someone's life. So go ahead and write a book. And if you can get AP as your publishing consultant, that will be a bonus. But go ahead and write that book and live your best life yet. Thank you.
Yes, there you heard it. That was Gertrude, one of my clients, and I really, really enjoyed working with her. So there is so much power in a book. A book can be translated into so many different languages. It can go to countries that you yourself will never be able to travel to and speak to audiences that you may never be able to meet. So there's so much power in a book. It makes you become immortal in a sense because your voice has the capacity to speak beyond the grave. So I like to look at myself as a book midwife, helping you to birth your ideas and bring them to life. Some of you right now may be waiting for a sign, but today I say to you, if you're looking for a sign, this is it. There's your sign right there. You need to get that book in motion. So I'll be able to speak a bit more about how to bring your book to life in the workshop. We'll have a bit more time to do one-to-one. It's interactive, and what I do like about workshops is it's a science lab environment, whereas a classroom, you'll just be learning and learning and learning. But in a science lab, it's actually practical. You actually see results. And our desire here for you at PAWAR is that you leave with something tangible in your hands so that you make this journey and this investment worth it. So we want to actually leave with the structure of your book, with more ideas, and we want to brainstorm your own book. Jim Rohn put it well. He said, don't let your learning lead to knowledge. Let your learning lead to action. And we know that it's action that produces results. I'm all about results. So, in conclusion, I just want to end this segment with a story that helped me overcome limitations and barriers and fears that I had about writing my book. So 2 years ago, I started this writing journey. I would sit down, write a few bits here, a few bits there, until I got frustrated because nothing was happening. I got frustrated, I was angry with myself because I knew that I had a powerful message that I wanted to share with the world. After trying everything else, I finally decided to hire a coach. And so during one of the sessions, the coach said to me, Close your eyes. Tell me what you see. And so because I'd just been on a Caribbean cruise that time, all I could see was water, sea, sand. My thinking was very much affected by that. So when I closed my eyes, this is what I saw. A huge ship that was just anchored by the seashore. And connecting the ship was this huge nail that was drilled right the way to the bottom. This was being connected by a thick rope that was holding the ship in place. It was a barren, pebbled beach. Not a soul in sight. And there were only street lights on, which tells me that it was nighttime. So he asked me, what is the ship wanting to do? And I said, the ship is wanting rest, it's wanting rejuvenation, it's waiting for instruction. And then after further exploration, he asked, what about that nail? What is that nail there for? And to me, it represented safety, it represented security from any storms, that ship would not be blown away. And we kept getting deeper and deeper into this, and finally realized that ship was actually me. I was there, afraid to go onto the waters, afraid to fulfill my purpose and my mission. And that nail, rather than representing safety and security, it was actually something that was pulling me back from fulfilling my purpose. So in my mind, I had to pull out that anchor and let myself go free. And when I did it, I felt such a release in my spirit that I embraced myself with all my insecurities, with all my imperfections. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go after this and give it my all. I'm going to write this book from a place of passion because the world needs to hear my story. So what happened the following day was actually even more fascinating, because when I was doing some research, I came across a quote by Paulo Coelho. And it says, a ship is safe in the harbor, but that is not the purpose of a ship. As soon as I saw that quote, I started writing and writing and writing. I wrote that book so much out of the depth of my passion that within 6 weeks I had finished writing that book. So what took me 6 years, a coach was able to come and extract out of me, and in 6 weeks it was done. So for me, the coach made the difference. And my question to you tonight, or this afternoon rather, is what's holding you back? What's keeping you from writing your book? You may find yourself in my story and be saying, I'm fearful. What will people think about my book? What will they say about me? You may find yourself in that place. So I want to remind you again, a book is money that's sitting in your mind. Will you just let it sit there while you struggle to pay the bills? Will you let it sit there while you struggle to become more visible? Or will you let yourself share your brilliance and make your mark in this world? I believe it's time for you to stand up and be counted. It's time for your story to be heard. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Thank you very much.